So here we go. Let's see what Uncle has to say. The shortcut to Ganon is this way.
A bee in a bottle.
That's what we like to call a B-Torp seed, my friends. We have a B-Torp seed. I like it.
I'm still a fan of why they always give you the regular bee in a bottle. Why can't they give you the golden bee? Because then, at least that way, you're guaranteed 100 rupees.
That's true. Now, what's interesting about the bee in the bottle is it's actually not as bad as it seems. You can unleash that early on in the game to deal a lot of damage to certain enemies. We might even see it used on the ball and chain guard here early on, or perhaps in like mini Moldorm caves, another good place to use it. There's some really good places to actually use that bee in the bottle. We'll see if these guys use all of their weapons that are at their disposal.
And I think, was it really early on that the last partners had the bee in the bottle as well?
That's exciting. So, it looks like these guys aren't really farming up for bombs just yet. Remember that in order to access 3 of the items in the escape, you do need some bombs here, so we might see them wait until they get to the sewers and farm rats and snakes that can be a little bit easier to fight, but we might also see them go out of their way against some of these guards.
Or I think they're probably hoping that we might actually get, some bomb drops from the chest, Alucard. Oh, the boots!
Oh my goodness, we have the Pegasus boots in the second chest here, or the third chest here, I suppose.
I guess they don't need to farm for don't need to farm for bombs right now, because you can bonk into that area.
Gotta go fast! I mean, you don't even need bombs anymore when you got those boots. Amazing.
Yeah, they gotta go faster.
So we're going to see some amazing escape times from these players as well, because they're going to be able to use those boots to traverse through here really quickly.
The only thing that actually makes it faster is, well, having the mirror, because that takes 1.5 minutes off the escape.
Oh yeah, if Zelda has... I mean, if she's looking in the mirror, she's doing her hair or whatever in the jail cell here, then this is going to be extremely fast escape time.
Checking for invisible enemies.
That's right.
And straight to attacking the ball and chain guard. Not worried about the pot strats. And just an arrow upgrade. I personally am a fan of waiting on the blue boomerang room. If you have a spare key, what do you think, Alucard?
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I think it's fine either way.
I know, but it's more the fact of just, if you've got it, I'd wait till picking up Zelda if you are worried that you might die, because if you do end up dying, at least you're starting, with Zelda instead of having to start back at the
Oh, I see. That's fair. These guys are fairly healthy. They've only taken like 1.5 hearts of damage, and things don't do too much damage here in this game. And there will be some opportunities to pick up some hearts along the way. So they should be alright. Now, because they have those boots here for escape, you might not see them farm as much, but the thing is, you still do need some bombs if you want to check some of the bombable areas in Kakariko Village.
That is very true.
We might see them farm here anyways. And they can use the boots to actually do that.
Yep. Plus also, what's really weird is the fact of, I've always wondered this. You have the regular guards that have the long swords in the game, then you have the ones that are looking like they only carry daggers. Is there a difference in the fact of, like, their rank or something in the castle guard, hierarchy? I mean, are they supposed to be squires or something? I always wondered that.
They gotta, work through the ranks of the guard there. You gotta start somewhere.
I know that. Even getting an actual bomb already. Say SDiezal, but I'll have to ask him.
That's gonna be good for him.
Yep. Now he actually has the opportunity to automatically check either Blind's Hut, The mini Maldorn cave or the well. So unless he gets more bombs, it's a choice between all three of those locations.
That's right.
And he, not realizing he could bonk that.
But in the meantime, picks up 4 more bombs for waiting for his troubles there. So
And
kind of worked out.
Diesel actually remembers he can bonk there. Oh, the map.
Oh, TheSabin realized it right there at the second entrance there, or the exit.
Yeah.
So he's probably feeling pretty happy that he actually got those bombs.
Yeah, though they will have to check the sanctuary chest, but so which way do you think they're gonna go? Kakariko or the Dam and Lake Hylia route?
I think they're gonna head to Kakariko. Since they have the boots, they can check the bonk rocks here, right out of Sanctuary, which is pretty nice. True. On their way up to the Lumberjack's Cave, if they want to check out what's required. If Aghanim is required, I mean, Aghanim might still be required, but that'll kind of confirm if they need to go to Aghanim early.
And Diesel opting not to check the bonk rock at 300 rupees for SDiezal.
Nice payoff. Very nice.
Let's hope Diesel remembers. He can check, the bonk, cave. Oh, and the Titan's mitts. The
power glove. Power glove, yeah.
Yep.
Now that may or may not be required if they do find Titan's mitts early on. Then they may not have to do that. But once they get a sword upgrade or the cape, they will immediately be able to go to get that power glove if they defeat Aghanim, because they do already have the boots.
Yeah, and usually you have to actually go try to collect the boots afterwards. You may defeat Aghanim, but you don't have the boots yet.
So both of these guys getting some nice rupees
already.
And the Cane of Brian. I like it.
I guess that goes along with the life of Brian, too.
That's right.
Monty Python reference for those people that get that. But, nothing too insane so far, except for the boots. I mean, the cave is useful. And let's see. Diesel opting to check the, Thieves' House, aka Blind's Domain. Whatever you want to call it.
Now, unfortunately, Diesel does not have bombs, so he's hoping he finds some bombs in these chests here. And he does.
Very good. 10 arrow upgrade, 5 arrow upgrade. Wow, all he needs to go there. Quake! Now, I don't know about you, but getting Quake early is very useful.
It's definitely pretty interesting, especially without a sword upgrade right now. You can use that to do some good damage to enemies. Good old Quack medallion.
That's true, but I know for me, whenever I get a medallion early, if there's any room that I just screw it, I don't want to deal with these enemies, I'll just end up using it because I just don't want to deal with the enemies. Or if I'm really low on hearts. Which begs the question, when they check the mini Maldorn cave, would you consider using bombs or Quake since you have access to it?
As long as I have some magic power. Now Diesel's going to be struggling with that because he doesn't have any magic power, but TheSabin did pick up a few magic drops.
Yeah. And let's see, the Bottle Merchant gives us the
There it is, dude. There it is. The single arrow dream.
Single arrow dreams alive and well. I'm a fan of actually keeping at least the one arrow left so you can actually get to it. Well, and also that makes that last single arrow the arrow that kills Ganon.
Diesel with a quality chicken clip here. I like it. I guess both of them did it. It's always hilarious.
And catching up to the actual runner. They need to actually put a text on that one. And having a battle, the the mirror.
Wow. Nice pickup there. Looks like TheSabin's gonna get his payout too. Man, these guys have some really awesome gear so far.
With the mirror, the boots. Hey, if they go to Aghanim right now, once they find the cave or sword upgrade, they have access to, Tower of Hera on Death Mountain. Speaking of Hera, well, speaking of the map, we still haven't seen what areas are required in the Light World. And
That's
just
right.
money. Both of them have the boots to get the Bonk library item, but choosing not to.
We'll see 50 rupees here at the race game.
Don't think it's worth it. Although,
Yep, both of them are skipping over it, and Diesel didn't pick up the 300 rupees outside the sanctuary, so thought maybe he would consider it, but it looks like these guys are just going to move right along.
Opting to dash to the dam instead of just taking the save and quit.
The sink is super real right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I always like when you got that sync, and I think I saw the race where, we had the runners finish up, 9 seconds apart from each other? And the going into Ganon fight was just basically that. And Diesel opting to get the dam while Sabin is actually looking to check out Gina's cave and the ledge item.
Yeah, I actually like this decision. It's a pretty interesting one. I mean, he's getting bodied by that cactus, which is not such a good idea. But he does find the powder here, which can unlock the magic bat. And, that gives him valuable information, even though he can't grab it. Plus, he can check Agha's cave here, so not a bad plan to just check what's available, especially with those boots, being able to get around the map real quick.
Very true. And the Titans bit!
Wow! So that was an incredible pickup for TheSabin. Man, if Diesel doesn't pick that up, he might end up going to Aghanim, and that could be a very poor choice.
Aghanim still might be needed if the Pyramid Ledge item is something very relevant.
Very true. We see Diesel picking up the flute here in the mini Moldorm cave. Awesome pickup. Lots of mobility for both of these players right now. And that flute might inspire Diesel to go to deserts because you can flute there very quickly.
Very true. And technically, they have the mirror. So technically, he could Super Bunny into the one area in the mire.
This also gives them access to Tower of Hera, because they can flute to one and use the mirror to get up to Tower of Hera. So lots of options for these players.
Have either of them checked the map yet?
I don't think I've seen it come up yet.
Chat, help us out here. I don't think so either. Sabin going to be getting his flute real soon. And just a 5-hour upgrade from the Ice Rod chest.
And it looks like Diesel's opting to head back and probably do fake flippers here. Maybe check the Lake Hylia item and head onward to the hobo.
And he gets
very nicely executed on the first try.
Some love. His flute. It's just a piece of heart. There's a question for you, Alucard. Sabin always has enough money for Zoro. So do you consider maybe farming and then fake flippering up to Zoro, you think?
That would be an interesting play. I mean, there's only, unfortunately, one item that he can collect there, but he can gain some intel on what the ledge item is. I think it's probably he's better off going to Hobo first, just because he's only able to collect one item anyways. And these guys still have a lot of access to a lot of different places before they would necessarily need to go there, so they might be able to pick up the money along the way. So I would be inclined to like wait.
Yes, very true. And looks like Diesel's going to go grab his swag duck. So can we start getting some swag duck, chat?
Looks like he remembered the bonk rocks here, so he's gonna get his 300 rupee payoff. So he's even closer than TheSabin. to that 500.
But you have the Titansmith, so even without going, fake flippering, you actually have access normally to Zoro. So he might consider just fluting up to the Witch's Potion Shop and going that way.
Oh, he definitely could. I was getting scared. Diesel almost saved it quit there. But he activates the flute. We got those swag ducks pouring in the chat. I like it.
I still like, I forget who it was that suggested Mafia is the duck's parent.
That's kind of funny.
Well, hey, we don't know why the duck was encased statue, and all three are actually crystals. 1 is Hera, 3 is Eastern, and 5 apparently is Desert, which is relevant.
Very, very relevant.
To use the term that you've got so far, the double-chested fairy might be open if needed in the cave.
Yeah, Sabin with some quick thinking goes to the King's Tomb and finds the vanilla cape in there. Pretty hilarious.
That's always useful. I mean, it might be a sign that the game might want you to go fight Aghanim.
Definitely. There's still a lot of options right now, and all they know is that the lumberjacks are not worth. But if the pyramid item is something important for progression like Moon Pearl, then they're going to have to do that Aghanim eventually.
And Sabin getting his swagged up.
And Diesel actually getting Moon Pearl, as I say it here, from the Lost Old Man, so... Wow. Now, he still hasn't gotten his Titansmiths, so he doesn't have access to the Dark World just yet. And he still doesn't have a sword upgrade or the cape. So, he needs to find that, but if he does find a sword upgrade...
Oh, the hook shot! The hook shot!
Whoa!
Now, I bet you he wished he had the
and the flippers!
So, both of those, things paying off nicely for each honor. And looks like Sabin's willing to check out Meyer along with the Kate, along with at least the checkerboard cave and maybe the others if he decides to super button. And Meyer
checking ether at Meyer, but we don't know actually if it's required or not yet.
I know I would personally, before leaving, would actually open the map to at least see if it's going to be required.
Agreed.
That's one thing I almost never see runners do. As soon as they get Dark World access, even if it's early on, why not check to see if it's needed?
Well, he's checking the light world here.
Yes, he is. And technically, if he finds a fire source, he could complete Desert.
Finds the mirror shield. Wow.
So say goodbye to Link. Rip Link. And Diesel picking up his hook shot. Now, do you check Hera, which is a crystal dungeon? More than likely, Diesel's going to do that right now. Let's see, I didn't catch all the Dark World map. I saw at least Skullwood and Meyer would be needed. It looks like Turtle Rock and Ice Palace were also needed. But chat can correct me if I'm wrong.
Apparently, Palace of Darkness was 6, and Turtle Rock is a crystal.
That'll be harsh.
And Ice was the green pendant, so that could be an interesting troll.
Yes, it can. And the big key, so Diesel right now will not need to go to the basement of Hera.
And he did find an item down there, so there's only one more available item in Hera to be picked up. He has pretty decent odds.
Very true. And
Sabin's gonna be happy here. Yeah.
Because unlike Diesel, he has the Titansmiths. So as soon as he gets that hook shot, he will be able to clear all of Death Mountain.
Yeah, that Titansmiths is gonna really help his routing a lot here. He's gonna be able to do a lot here on Death Mountain.
And SDiezal opting to check. He's his flippers. So he's going to go grab his flippers and then the hook shot. And then probably hit up Hera as well. So and a 10 arrow upgrade in the big chest for Hera.
Yep, nothing of great value here in Hera, but they've been finding plenty of it here on Death Mountain, and he will be able to pick up his first crystal here from Moldorm.
Yep. And SDiezal going to go pick up his hook shot himself, and then probably clear Hera. And then I'm betting he'll drop down and go collect all East Death Mountain, or pop the flute, whichever he thinks will be faster. And SDiezal opting to try to do the dash tracks on Moldorm, aka Trolldorm. So apparently he can really be a troll. I never knew trolls were giant worms. It's you?
Of course, dude, of course.
So makes you wish for the newer Zelda games that you could actually get, that you could actually go fishing. I wonder what you would actually catch with a giant Moldorm as your bait. Looks like SDiezal and SDiezal are, stopping for a high five. And looks like SDiezal is checking Chasra, which neither player has.
This could give him a bit of an edge, but the thing is he also still doesn't have those Titan's mitts. He needs to get to Agnes Cave as soon as he can if he wants to open up a lot of options for himself.
Which begs the question, did the game want you to see the power gloves and maybe go beat Aghanim to get those fast? Or did it want you to actually check Agnes Cave and actually get the Titan's mitts? And the shovel and a blue goo potion for SDiezal from Chasra. Now, I hope SDiezal remembers to check the shovel location, because I know for myself, I have forgotten that I had that, when I've gotten the flute so early.
Looks like he's prioritizing it immediately.
And that is also very good, because I know that spot can hold a lot of good things. In fact, it's literally trolled me enough, when I have, forgotten it. And SDiezal taking care of Moldorm right now. And ooh, the Tempered Sword.
This is good and bad for SDiezal here, because he might immediately go to Aghanim. I mean, if there's something of value on the pyramid, that's going to be good for him, because it might take TheSabin a little while to get over to that pyramid. This might put him in the wrong direction. So hopefully he's heading to desert. It looks like he wants to head south here, so it might just be floating there. Looks like it. Okay, he's going to get his payoff here.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
He's going to see the powder. Now, both runners still without a fire source.
Now, interestingly, they can actually get into desert, but they can't complete it. And they will be able to pick up that powder if they want, and actually access the magic bat. So that could be a progression item for them.
And so could the chest, in the Dark World Mire.
Right.
And SDiezal picking up his Titan's bit. It's probably kicking himself for not checking here sooner. Because he's
still fairly early, so I think he's going to be fine. He can catch up to TheSabin here if he heads up to Death Mountain now. He can do a full clear of this area if he wants. And I think
it looks like that's where he's going. No, it looks like he's opting to maybe check Mire.
Not a bad plan. There's a decent number of items here. He hasn't checked the mirror spot here. And he can get into desert and clear as much as he can. He can't finish it unless he gets a fire source here, though.
And he's also checking for information. So, red pendant is Swamp Palace, and blue is Thieves Town. Let's see, the rest of that's that. More money and a piece of a heart for the Motorhome Cave in Death Mountain. Let's see, 20 rupees and 50 from the Fireball Cave in the Mire.
TheSabin picking up both rods here.
Oh, I didn't even see that. But Diesel opting to pick up the powder. Always useful. So we know that since both Mire and Turtle Rock are required, there's very few items that could possibly be in the pedestal, considering Pod is an actual pendant dungeon and the hammer is required. There's still no bow yet, but we know that also can't be in there either. But what could be in there is the Canis Maria. And Diesel picking up his Riot Shield.
Yeah. That mirror shield does come in handy in a lot of situations.
It does. Always carrying a shield comes in handy. I'm a fan of, even if I've got the fighter sword, the fighter shield, taking the second to actually, if I don't want to go look for the magic shield, if I'm going to Zoro, I'll just stop in the wishing well and throw my shield in there. It's one of those strats I always, did from vanilla, and it only takes a few seconds, and even in a race, having a shield can actually be useful. And nice hookshot clip for Sabin, to save himself some time, though he does have the mirror, so apparently he didn't realize that. And the compass on the torch. So let's see, the Super Bunny chest, heart, and 20 bucks. So now Hookshot Cave coming up, and let's see what's in here.
Yep, 4 more items as Diesel continues through Desert Palace.
So there's the burrito.
I like to call it an egg roll, but burrito works too.
Egg roll or burrito. I've also seen some people call it toilet paper.
True. I mean, what else are you going to use it for?
And another, was that a fairy in a bottle?
No, more bees! More bees!
Sorry about that. Sabin trying to decide where to go. And he's going to Link's house, so... Now what's surprising is neither of them have checked, Village of Outcasts. They have access.
Very true. Oh, Diesel finding the bow in the big chest!
Oh!
Desert Palace, that is a huge play from Diesel. That's going to give him a lot of access.
And looks like Sabin is opting to check Zoro. And looks like Diesel's finally going to go to East F Mountain. He'll pick up his rods. Another bottle. And, ooh, the red mail!
That is a nice pickup. It's going to make them a lot safer, but Sabin has a lot of hearts. These guys have been finding a lot of love, too.
And a lot of love from every NPC. And Zoro for 500 is the lamp!
Wow!
That is worth the 500 rupees. And Sabin not picking up the red mail. Opting to save and quit and ignore the red mail. Hopefully that won't come back to bite him, considering that, I don't know about you, but I really do not want to have to battle Ganon with green mail. As if he touches you, that's 8 hearts worth of damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. That's a bit of a risk here. I mean, these guys do have a couple of bottles and do have a decent amount of money, so they can buy some potions, but it wasn't that far to swim over there.
That's true. Maybe he'll come back. Hopefully.
So these guys are really just looking for Hammer, Red Cane, and maybe... Did we see the Turtle Rock medallion? Do we know what that is?
No, neither of them checked.
Maybe Diesel will here in a little bit. SDiezal getting mugged over here.
Well, it's not called Thieves Town for nothing.
That's a fair point.
He's getting mugged by Steve. I mean, it is his town. And Diesel opting to check Spiral Cave, which he'll be rewarded with a 5-arrow upgrade. TheSabin still with the fighter's sword. Hopefully he'll remember to pick up that tempered sword.
That's right.
So unless... Was it Ether that was in? No, it was just the Power Glove. So I guess neither of them will be playing with Power this time.
Looks like TheSabin's gonna reunite the dwarves here, try to cash in on some value. Now, he didn't end up picking up the magic powder, so he'll have to leave the magic bat. But that might be okay, because then you end up losing your portal if you do it this way. So he might be going for the purple chest instead.
Unless the Smiths have the hammer, which is an option, and just some bombs. The game sure loves to troll you with those bombs. I guess it's the Zelda 1 weapons for those people that don't want to have to use a sword. Bombs being the preferred method for actually killing every enemy, but Ganon, since you can't damage him without a sword. And so, what will be picked out of the purple chest today? Just a piece of heart.
Just a little love.
Well, hey, all
From
you
Gary.
do is love.
So Diesel's seeing 50 rupees on the floating island. Doesn't need any of that. These guys are rich at this point. And does not check the Turtle Rock requirement yet again.
And SDiezal going in to check the Mire Cave. See, as we know, it's just, it's just rupees. To be precise, it's a total of 70 rupees. A lot of love for the, runners. Now, looks like SDiezal's opting to actually complete Desert since he has the fire source and the arrow.
But he hasn't been into the first part of Desert, has he?
No, he is not.
So he can't actually complete this because he needs the big key. He's gonna have a rude awakening here in just a moment.
Well, we've seen some crazy things before. Like, players forgetting Kiki money, players trying to lift rocks, without gloves. Personally, one of my favorite things to see. But, yeah, this seed's actually been pretty good so far.
Definitely. Really fast-paced seed. A lot of available locations very quickly, so it makes for interesting routes from the players.
I'm personally hoping that, there is at least the 1 or 2 items that are trolling.
Yeah, maybe Gary taught him to pick the lock here. Guess the skills didn't come in handy.
Oh no, SDiezal just warping all the way through that and then mirroring back. Smart play. Smart play. That way he can just dash through all of that area once he's done.
Yep, but he's going to be happy he came to Desert. He is going to get himself a bow as
And
Diesel finishes up
players.
Desert here.
In fact, both players probably giving each other a high five after killing landmolars.
Oh yeah, D was for Desert Cross. We know the rules here.
There's a good question. If you're not comfortable with silverless strats on Ganon, what would you do if the silver arrows are in the pedestal?
Oh boy, I would start learning quick, or I guess I would just have to go through and beat all those extra dungeons. I mean, I think that's the best option. If you're in a race situation and you don't know how to do it, the best thing to do is just suck it up and beat those dungeons. And if your opponent's struggling, and we've seen that in this tournament so far, then you still have a shot at winning.
Yes, we have. And we also have a chance of having the second Canis Maria in Sword Seed.
That would be pretty crazy, considering the pace at which these guys have been getting their items.
Yes. Very true. And nice spin speed from Sabin. Going in to finish Landmola, while Diesel walks out from there. Both runners giving each other a high five. Though Diesel does not yet have the lamp.
He does not, but he's heading to 2, so this might be an opportunity for him to head over to Zora and check what's there. Looks like he's doing it. Could have maybe paired this with Catfish, but we might see him head back there later.
Yes, or as I prefer to call him, the Windfish.
Oh, he's leaving. Interesting. So he's going to potentially head to the village of Outcasts now.
And Steve's Town.
Now, if he does go into Steve's Town, he doesn't have the hammer, so he won't be able to check that big chest in there, but he'll be able to check everything else. Would you go into Steve's Town, Thieves' Town here?
Or as the original guide called it, Gargoyle's Domain? I'd consider it, because there's always, a few good items there, and the game tends to, and the logic tends to think you will probably take a dip into that and Skull Woods, even if they are pendant dungeons. Because they're relatively accessible and easy enough to actually, get through a lot of the items.
Yeah, now with it being a pendant dungeon, it's a bit of a risk, because you might just be kind of wasting some time. I mean, these guys have access to Eastern Palace, which is a crystal. They just picked up crystal number, I believe, 5 at Desert.
Yes, they did.
So that's also interesting, and that magic powder that TheSabin picked up might also be pretty clutch and important here.
Yes. But, I would always opt to check out Steve's Town and, Skull Woods, because they're relatively easy, and honestly, for what I've noticed, the game's logic tends to possibly be trolly enough to give you either something of semi-importance there, or or a luxury item there. I mean, I've literally...
Wow! We see that high five from these guys, picking up the same rock at the same time, but going in completely different directions. That's pretty amazing.
And it looks like Diesel is opting to beat Skull Woods. Now, I
think that's a good play. I mean, he has the fire rod, he has everything he needs to come in here and finish it off.
And it looks like Sabin opting to get the digging game taken care of. Which Diesel is not checked yet.
Diesel finding Bombos in the first chest here in Skull Woods. That could be important. We still haven't seen the T-Rock requirement from either of these players. We know that Ether is required for Misery Mire, though.
I'm hoping for Ether on both of them now, to make that sword even more important if it's there. That or the Canis Maria. Because I still want to see an actual sword seed. And still would love to commentate on it. What about you, Alucard? Would you be willing to stay the extra time if it's a sword required item?
Of course! I would stay all day long for a Master Sword pedestal seed. We all want it. We're all excited for it. I mean, so far, this seed has been very giving. It'll be really interesting to see what happens.
Especially if that's the thing that it actually takes from you, is your time and your soul. Because usually most players will opt to clear everything they can before diving into a pedestal, pendant required dungeon. Unless they have the book, it's neither player does yet. So they can't even check to see if the, pedestal item is required.
Right.
And let's get some hype in the chat for Hype Cave!
Hype Cave!
Hype! Ooh,
we already got some hype in here. Bugnet as the first item.
More bombs? 10 arrows? Ooh. Some rupees and the magic shield. But oddly enough, it did look like Quake when they picked it up. Let's see, SDiezal probably opting to go to Eastern? Yup, he is.
It's a good play. You can finish that dungeon off pretty quickly. There's a decent number of items to check there. I like the play. I also like the Skull Woods play. These are required dungeons, and you can find items along the way very quickly in both of them. So I think they're both making great routes here.
And both, locations being relatively easy to not only clear, but to also, check because you're right near there. And especially since both are crystal dungeons, it will be, really helpful. Let's see. The shovel and the blue goo for SDiezal, finally from Zasara, which will be beneficial. As didn't the shovel location yield something useful? If you recall, Alucard?
It was the tempered sword. So Diesel has been able to use that tempered sword to great effect here in the Dark World, while the SDiezal has had to, play it a little safer. It looks like he's clearing all the Light World dungeons first, and also because he has everything he needs to do them. But, that has given Diesel a little bit of a leg up, but if the SDiezal checks that shovel spot quickly, he'll be able to find that tempered sword.
And nice, dodging of the cannonballs here.
Here comes a Mothula fight. Now, if you knock Mothula into the spikes, that's not going to do any damage to Mothula, so you have to be really careful the direction in which you're hitting him. But SDiezal pulls it off really well, finishes off the fight, and is rewarded with some bombs. But that is both the items in Skull Woods, so he doesn't need to check anything else.
Yep. And just the compass and big key so far for SDiezal. And, well, let's see. So, Diesel opting to flute out because he can't check the pedestal yet. Which, what about you, Alucard? Are you a fan of checking the pedestal as soon as you can? Just to make sure you won't need to dive into pendants?
I think I would pair it with something like Skull Woods if I'm good to go for completing that dungeon. I don't necessarily need to have that information immediately. I mean, at this point, maybe it would be good for them to if they do end up finding the book, but I would almost rather check the tablets before I check the Master Sword pedestal if I did find the book, just so that I can get a few more items. Maybe I'm getting some safety items, or maybe I get some progression items. I mean, they're still looking for Ether, they're still looking for Hammer, and they're still looking for that red cane.
I know I'm a fan of always checking just because of the fact of wanting to make sure that I won't need it, and I will take the information beforehand.
Sure, and that's a completely viable strategy as well. So we don't see too much in Eastern. I haven't been keeping track of the item count, but there are 3 unique items in Eastern Palace, so maybe Armos will drop something here. But either way, they're going to get a crystal on the deal. Now, what's interesting is the SDiezal does have a bit of a leg up on Diesel in the fact that he does have the lamp and that can make certain players take a long time in dark dungeons, especially, you know, Misery Mire and Palace of Darkness, which are both required in this seed.
And I know I personally, if I've got to go lampless, I'd rather check Mire first. I'd rather actually go through Mire than go Palace of Darkness. Call me crazy on that one, but I feel that the actual maze room is easier in Mire than it is to actually try to navigate, you know, the turtle room in Pod.
It can be very difficult, but if you do have a fire source, then you can get some light in that area.
Yep, and more money. Wow. I think the seed just wants them to be really rich and the Master Sword.
Wow, and great fight from TheSabin on that quick kill on Armos Knights. Really beautiful fight. You basically just get to skip over the entire final phase of the fight if you can kill those last two Armos Knights back to back.
Very true. Now, will SDiezal actually check the shovel spot?
I like the map here. Quality map, looking at himself
SDiezal.
on the map. Now, he did just switch off a shovel, so hopefully he'll check the shovel spot here in a bit.
And I think he's going to be doing that right now.
Well, you'll be pleased to find
His
the
tempered
sword immediately.
Which is very useful. I mean, what, is it 24 hits with the Master Sword and all of them have to be spin attacks?
Correct. Versus 12, and we're talking about the Ganon fight here, so that tempered sword will help both of these players out a lot. Both of these players should be fine.
How many spin attacks is it for the final phase if you have to do silverless?
It's 12 with tempered and 24 for master.
Yeah, I think you want to at least get the tempered.
And these guys have it, so they're good to go. Alright, so TheSabin doing some overworld cleanup here. He's going north of the village of Outcasts. Checks Bumper Cave, only a 5-arrow upgrade here. Hopefully he'll check the graveyard mirror spot back here. While SDiezal finishes off the Armos Knights, gets himself another tempered sword, basically, since, you know, you can't downgrade your sword. And then I imagine we'll likely see TheSabin go to Catfish from here. This is where these players are starting to get a little bit trolled. They've been able to complete all the dungeons that they can with the items that they have, but now they're in a pickle because they need Hammer and they need Red Cane to really dive in and complete the other dungeons. Now, it looks like SDiezal is also heading to the Dark World. And SDiezal's also missing that lamp, importantly.
Very true. Very true. But let's see what the Windfish has today. Windfish, Catfish. I still like these Link's Awakening reference here.
Looks like SDiezal's gonna do some overworld cleanup on the south side of Village of Outcasts. We know that this doesn't really yield any value.
Very true. But,
although he can check Magic Bat, which I think... Oh! The hammer at Catfish! Beautiful place for that item.
Now that is going to be great. So, Pod, you think?
I think Pod is a good play, since Swamp Palace is a pendant. I don't think Swamp is a very good play But this could be a risky strat for the SDiezal. It looks like he's realizing that now.
Yeah, and probably fluting to Pod.
What's also great about Pod is that it is crystal number 6. So that actually unlocks the Fat Fairy items as well, which could be important here.
And SDiezal opting to actually go to Hammer Cave. So let's get those hammers in the chat. So it'll be hammer time soon.
Well, he might end up heading to Skull Woods. We'll have to see which way he decides to go, because he does have everything he needs to complete that. I'm a little surprised he hasn't gone up there yet.
So am I. But he's looking like he's opting to flute.
A little indecision here from the SDiezal.
I think he chose the warp to the wrong spot. Yeah, he's heading for Pod.
Okay, I like the play. I think it's a strong play.
And for those that don't get what we mean by Pod, it's Palace of Darkness. But with... didn't Rick say it was around, what, the 150th race so far? I think we all know what the abbreviations are by now.
It's a good idea to remind anyone, or anyone new who's stopping by. Yeah, Palace of Darkness. Basically the first dungeon in the Dark World that you go into in the vanilla game. And it is quite a long dungeon to full clear as well, so I can understand the decision to not want to come here, but it does have a decent amount of items. There are, I believe, 5 unique items in Palace of Darkness. And with the Fat Fairy being unlocked with Palace of Darkness, it's going to unlock even more items for these guys. So I like the play from the SDiezal. SDiezal doing a little bit of cleanup here. I'm not sure exactly where he wants to go next, but I mean, he really needs to head to Catfish and Zora. He can make a trip out of it if he goes all in that direction. He'll find himself the lamp and the hammer. That'll give him a lot of progression.
Yes, it will. Because I don't know how good SDiezal is with dark rooms, but I know for me, if I can find the lamp, I'll be ecstatic. I still haven't practiced dark room strategies, but I want to learn them.
Now, what's interesting here for SDiezal is because he has Bombos already and knows that Ether is required for Misery Mire, he knows that once he gets the Ether Medallion, he'll be good to go for both, Turtle Rock and Misery Mire, since both of these players decided not to check the requirement. So...
That's true, but they're missing one important item. That red cane.
Indeed. Where is the red cane?
Oh, where is that red cane? I do not know what it is. Gotta make some jokes with that one. Though probably SDiezal will be picking up his cape real soon. So let's see, the cliff at the graveyard will yield just some more love.
SDiezal, using his game knowledge, dips in to grab himself a couple fairies. Good idea there.
I know. I always try to
know. Yeah, it's good to know these kind of remote places that not necessarily, great places for speed, but if you die, you're gonna lose a lot of time. So
yeah. Although he does have the bug catching net, so he could have also caught a few of them. I mean, he has a spare bottle or two. But he does have that blue goo no one's used. Oh, he hasn't used.
That is very true. Looks like SDiezal's going to grab himself the cape. It's a nice safety item. I mean, these guys have the lag cane, but the cape is going to, help these guys at certain
Looks like
fights, like the victories
SDiezal
fights.
is opting to do the bomb jump. Will he get it? He does!
Nicely done. Now, it looks like he still needs the big key, so he's heading in here to grab
The chest in there.
the chest first.
Yeah.
Doesn't find it quite yet.
Yes, but he does get an actual full refill thanks to that fourth piece of heart. And
Diesel
looks like
heading to Catfish. This is a big play for him. This is going to
he's
yield
gonna
him
enjoy
a lot of
the hammer.
value.
Which do you prefer, catfish or quakefish?
Yeah, I like Catfish. I like the vanilla name.
Yeah, I just like calling him the windfish, just because well, he tends to jump up high, and he, though not looking like the giant whale with two tiny wings, I still think it's cool.
There's the big key. So the SDiezal was looking in the wrong place for that big key, unfortunately, and he may end up going back to that big chest. Sometimes the bomb jump, while it is fast in no major glitches strats, is slower in randomizers. You have to plan accordingly.
That is true. And now will SDiezal pick up his red mail?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff up here. Hammer, lamp, red mail. This is a treasure trove right here.
Yep.
And it looks like SDiezal's going for bomb jump number 2.
Yep. Which is something I still need to learn. Though
Quality burrito there in the big chest.
egg roll and burrito. SDiezal just picks up his lamp, so he should be ecstatic. And looks like he is opting to pick up the red mail. Always useful.
Yeah, it's not that far out of your way. Really helps you with some survivability. You can see the SDiezal even went out of his way into that fairy cave and, spent a little bit of time. If he had just spent that time getting the red mail, he'd have been set for the rest of the run. And these guys are going to have to go through Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, which a lot of the enemies there do a lot of damage.
Very true. Very, very true. Though maybe he thought the red mail was not as important, or that, it just wasn't worth it, or maybe he didn't even notice it.
Sure. So the SDiezal is finishing up Palace of Darkness now,
As
and
SDiezal,
as Diesel's entering it.
so they'll be able to give each other a high five on the way out.
That's right, and remember, SDiezal has completed Skull Woods, so he's actually a crystal up on the SDiezal right now. SDiezal's, finishing up Palace of Darkness, which does take a little bit of time. So if he heads to Skull Woods immediately, or
Nice
another dungeon
fight.
like Ice Palace, he could go to Ice Palace, then he could, kind of catch up a little bit.
Too true. Too true. Though, this also begs the question as to whether or not he'll check the ferry. I mean, he has access to the super bomb now.
That would be a good play. That's 2 items you can check. Plus, I don't think these players have gone to the pyramid yet. So at the pyramid, they'll be able to get 1 additional item. So that's a pretty lucrative area right now
Yes,
for
it
these
is.
players at this point. I think that would be a great play for them.
It is very true. And SDiezal opting to attack Helmasaur with the Tempered Sword versus the Hammer. Though right now, both of them are dealing the same amount of damage, so it really is. It's a matter of, really, game? More bombs?
Sometimes you just gotta blow some stuff up, dude.
I know! I'm a fan of it in this. I am! Especially since the fact that he could have used those bombs on Helmasaur. It would take, what, is it 3 or 4, total bombs it'll end to get rid of him.
Alright, these guys are tied up 4 crystals apiece. SDiezal's working on his 5th, but it's a slow one. Looks like SDiezal is going straight to Skull Woods, which is a bit of a quicker one, so we might see some pretty big sync coming up here, potentially.
Very true. Very true.
Now, unfortunately, their last 2 crystals do require the red cane. If the red cane is in Misery Mire, that's going to probably be one of the biggest trolls here.
Oh, I've seen it in its vanilla location.
That would be pretty crazy. But there's also all of these pendant dungeons that could have the red cane. Of course, that Ether Medallion is still outstanding, so they need to find that so they get access to Misery Mire in the first place. So they can't,
Very true.
They can't even collect that red cane if it is in Misery Mire.
And nice hammer dashing from SDiezal to get access to that hammer cave. For those that don't know, you can hold both the an item plus the dash button to be able to actually run to be able to do that. And looks like SDiezal opting to use the mirror instead of using the hammer to get to the Bat Cave.
This is some good cleanup from TheSabin. It's good to get these overworld items out of the way in case they do have some value. Unfortunately, they did not pay off today.
Yeah, though neither player has gotten half magic or quarter magic. I'm always a fan of actually seeing the half or quarter magic there, just because it's not so much a troll as that's its normal location in the game, but it still is fun to see. And
yeah, definitely.
And TheSabin just about to pick up his big key. Now, if he's kept, an actual count of his items, you could tell whether or not it's, worth actually getting to the big key chest, which, as we know, is only going to give him some food.
So it looks like TheSabin is making his first big gamble here, which is heading into Thieves Town. There's a decent amount of items in here. You'll be able to find a good number, and so I like this decision. It's kind of quick to pop in here. I know some players opt to just head in here into the first area and grab some chests and then mirror out, because there's 4 that you can check very quickly. But he has the ability to full clear this, and I think I would encourage that.
As would I, because it's really one of the easiest dungeons in the game, especially for a Dark World dungeon. I mean, blind only takes 9 hits, no matter what weapon you got. I think you could even use the hammer on him.
You can indeed. And not that these players need to, but yeah, you definitely can.
You can also use the Can of Burna if you want to lag it like anything. And all 3 actual dungeon items so far. So whatever Steve's Town is hiding, he's going to have to venture in deep for it. But it's really not that much of a time loss, as it may be a pendant dungeon, but those pendants may be required, as they still don't have the book to check the sword or the medallion locations.
Right, it could be pretty crazy if like book is in Turtle Rock or something, and the Ether Medallion is, since it's required for Mire, is at the Master Sword pedestal or one of the tablets. Assuming Turtle Rock is like Bombos or Quake.
Now, what would be really nice is having it in Trinex. Having him actually hold it, so you have to complete the entire dungeon in order to find the actual book, in order to find out that the sword is required. Now that's a troll.
That would be a bit of a troll, but at the same time, at least they're completing one of the dungeons that they're forced to complete anyways.
That's true. That is true. That is very true.
I mean, we still have Ice Palace and Swamp Palace as pendant dungeons here, so those could easily have either the items that these guys are looking for. Now, we know TheSabin doesn't have Bombos, and that might be required for Turtle Rock, but he will likely find it immediately once he goes into Skullwoods.
That is true. And TheSabin making quick work of the turtles. And with all the times we've seen Steve's Town actually hide a few, important items, my gut always tells me, check this area out. Because the game's logic tends to think this area is open, it's easily checked, and no matter what, you really have access to it, so you might as well check it. Same thing with Skull Woods. Tends to think if you have access. Oh, an ether!
That is huge for the Sabin here. The big chest in Thieves Town has ether, which is required for Meyer. So he is definitely ahead at this point.
As I said, Thieves Town always has something. It is always worth the check in there. The logic tends to make you want to check here because it's so easily accessible that as soon as you start to go check Village of Outcasts, you really should, check out, Thieves Town and Skull Woods. They're two easily accessible dungeons, and as long as you have the fire rod, you have the hammer, you can complete both of them and not even have to come back. And nice blind fight from SDiezal, however you want to pronounce it. And he gets his blue pendant.
Ooh, now Diesel is also going to Village of Outcasts right now. If he dips into Thieves Town, I mean, these players are going to be really, really neck and neck because the SDiezal hasn't done Skull Woods yet.
Well, he probably is.
But he does have the Ether Medallion, and if Diesel picks up that Ether Medallion, he might go straight to Meyer. So we might see a sync up here at Misery Meyer, potentially.
And nice spin.
These guys want to check for
SDiezal.
vanilla Cane of Samaria, but it looks like Diesel is heading right past Thieves Town. That's a bit sad.
Well, he's getting the Smith, which he has yet to do. And as we know, the Smith's only going to reward him with, what, 20 rupees? But now, SDiezal's got all of his medallions, all of his coins, whatever you want to call them. I mean, heck, you could always just call them, he's got all of his pendants. Pendants for days.
Yep, he's got those medallions, he's good to go. Falls into the pit there. But he is good to go, and he does still need that red cane. Red cane is still an outstanding item. I think a very troll place to put that could obviously be Misery Mire. I think another place that they haven't checked is the Cave of Burna Cave, the Spike Cave.
Spike Cave is always an actual good troll location, though I know I'm not the only one that's hoping for the sword. But then again, they really can't check the sword yet. So they may not realize that, oh crap, we've got to complete pendant dungeons because the sword, has the cane.
That would be pretty crazy if we find, like, book at the Spike Cave. That would be insane.
Because neither of them have the book. And neither of them actually have gotten the mushroom either. But then again, the mushroom could lead them to the book, which then makes them have to find the, find out the pedestal information. Gotta love the fetch quest items. And Diesel just about to pick up his purple chest. And opting to flute there. And SDiezal having to pull that block because he does not have his cane. Just picking up the compass, which really doesn't look like a compass. What would you think it looks like?
What would I think? What?
The compass. It doesn't really look like what a compass would look like, don't you think?
It kind of looks. I mean, it's got like a round shape and like a needle on it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even look like it's got a needle. Though, does it even know that there are pots under here? Okay, apparently. I know I'm not the only one that learned that one recently. And the map. It looks like Diesel's opting to head up to Death Mountain. Maybe thinking Turtle Rock? No way,
he can't actually get in there. I mean, he might be able to open it up, but it looks like Spike Cave might be on his mind, and this could be a big play from Diesel here. I like the play. check these overworld items while you remember them.
Too true. Too true. So what will the Cave of Brian Cave hold?
Let's hope for a book.
Or the shroom.
That would be pretty good too.
And opting to use the Cane of Brian in the Cane of Brian Cave.
Definitely better on your magic than using
And even getting his actual fight with Mafia real easily. And just some love. Just some love from the lonely cave. And Diesel trying to figure where do I need to go to find this ether. I think
these guys are now tied up at 5 crystals apiece. It's anyone's game. TheSabin does have the edge in that he has that ether medallion, so he can decide if he wants to enter Misery Mire and check if the cane is there. They also have Fat Fairy, which I think is a really important place that Diesel is running right by, and he might be going to the pyramid right now, not realizing that he could actually also find the Fat Fairy items there too.
And I've seen a few runners actually forget to check that, and forget to check the actual Fat Fairy.
Looks like he checked his map and realized it, so he's making a good play here. He's going to be going back to get that big bomb.
Or super bomb, however he wishes to call it.
Yep. And it looks like TheSabin might have the similar idea here, so these guys are kind of synced up right now. Pretty cool.
Yes, very cool. Though, since they both have not tagged him, they both must take the long route.
That's right. It looks like TheSabin checked his map too, just to check on crystals 5 and 6. So these guys have a new follower, the big bomb for the double-chested fairy.
Let's get some double-chested fairy hype.
And we'll also be able to peek at that pyramid item too.
Now that is also a very good thing, though I always wondered if it's worth actually sometime taking the super bomb to any place else just for fun. And let's see what the double-chested fairy offers us today. Lurpy and the blue mail. So at least Sabin will finally get some mail.
That's good for him. And we'll see what's on Pyramid here as well.
After opting to not get the red mail. Ooh, the mushroom!
The mushroom! Let's pray for a book at the witch.
Yep, the magic mushroom. Now, big question. Did Link steal the mushroom from Mario?
Probably. I mean, where else would he get it?
I mean
Mario kind of steals mushrooms from everywhere, to be fair.
That is true. He does.
There's just like mushrooms for Mario everywhere anyways. Oh, it's the book! It's the book! The dream is still alive!
Looks like my prediction came true on that one.
Now Diesel's gonna quickly run up here and check the ether tablet, which is a good play. These tablets definitely getting bodied by these cabbages, but
yeah, giant rolling cabbages.
This is definitely a good play from Diesel. It's good to check these before you check the Master Sword pedestal, because if you get your item, then you're good to go. But remember, he's still missing the ether medallion. He might be hoping that ether falls from the sky here.
Yes.
And TheSabin might be checking Bombo, so these guys are going to different tablets right now.
That is true. So that'll be really interesting to see what falls between both tablets, because there's only one other use for that book, and that's some sword love. So what drops is some hearts.
A full heart. It's set cart.
Yes! The best location I have seen for that is gotta be the verification chest. I've actually seen that in a race, and that was amazing.
All right, here we go. Bombo's tablet,
says-
tablet number 2. Another full heart! The dream is still alive, guys. Believe in the pedestal, guys. We gotta get some hype in the chat for pedestal. The dream is still alive.
Come on, pedestal. It's even opting to check
He's going to Ether tablet, and
Yep.
Diesel's going to Bombo's tablet.
They're both
They
checking the
might
same
actually
location.
sync up here at the Master Sword pedestal in a second here. If both of them decide to check it, that would be pretty crazy.
Yes.
The realization from both players, if this happens, is going to be crazy. Diesel's thinking he's fluting to 3. Here we go, folks.
Let's get some sword hype. Now the better question is, if this was you and it's the sword, what's your reaction gonna be?
You'll see. I mean, you just gotta start clearing dungeons, and this will be good for Diesel because he will find the Ether Medallion. So honestly, this would be helpful for Diesel, but he doesn't know that.
Now this is
Looks like he is going into Thieves Town though, so this could be a good play for him. But he didn't check the Master Sword pedestal. He decided not to.
And SDiezal deciding to actually get his King of Brian heart piece.
The suspense is real, guys. The suspense is real. They're keeping us on edge.
Yes, they are.
SDiezal trying to figure out where to go next. Where could this red cane be? Where could the Cane of Samaria be? Looks like he might be opting to head into Swamp Palace. Neither of these guys want a Master Sword pedestal seed, so they are just ignoring it for now. Interesting plays.
I know for myself, since it's really fast to check, I would have checked as soon as I had checked the actual stuff.
TheSabin's doing it! He's doing it, dudes.
Come on!
It's happening.
Come on, Red Cane! Come
Here it
on,
is,
Red
folks.
Cane!
He's
Please,
changed
give us the
his
sword
mind.
seed! Give us the sword! Give us the sword! Give us the sword!
Here's the dream, guys. Come on. We want that. We want that Cane of Samaria.
And getting mugged
Show
before
it
you
to
can get
us.
to the sword! Give us the sword! Come on! Come on! Come on!
I missed
Yes!
the hold down switches!
Yes!
It's a Master Sword pedestal seed,
The
guys!
third one in there! The third one in there! The third one!
Pedestal required,
Fire.
everyone. Here we go. TheSabin, now with that knowledge, realizes that his situation is pretty clear. He has to complete all of the pendant dungeons. He's going to Swamp Palace. He's going to clean that up quickly. He can actually just speed right through it because he knows his last final item is at the Master Sword pedestal, so he does have an edge here. While Diesel is making his way through Thieves Town, he will be rewarded with that Ether Medallion. And then these guys will, pretty much end up having to clear Ice Palace as well, which can be a bit, time-consuming and treacherous. So
Yes.
it's anybody's game, but I think SDiezal has the edge because he did find that Ether Medallion earlier on. So right now he's a little bit ahead, but it could still be anyone's game. We still have Ganon's Tower to worry about. We still have T-Rock Campbells that can take place here. There's a lot of interesting things in play.
That is true. That is true. And I encourage chat to tell all your friends, your family, anybody that loves A Link to the Past, come watch this. As we have a pedestal required seed. Now these don't come up that often. In fact, I believe that I confirmed this with Vitor last I chatted with him. It's a 3% chance.
It is a 3% chance. Diesel heading over to the big chest in Thieves Town. He's about to get his payday. Now the question is, when will he check the Master Sword pedestal? Because he still doesn't have that information, and hopefully he's going to kill Blind. It looks like he is going to do that, so that will save him some time in the long run.
And yes, Chad, the pedestal is required. For those that just joined us, it's the Cane of Samaria. It's the Cane of Samaria. And both Maya and Turtle Rock are required. Now, technically, they could actually get away with Turtle Rock if they're insanely good at hovering. But I don't think, even the best of us could hover Turtle Rock. Maybe a TheSabin, but
it's really difficult to do that. I wouldn't see anybody taking the time to do that in this tournament. It would be a huge gamble for them because it requires very, very precise execution.
As I said, maybe a TheSabin, but we have a pedestal required. Now this is going to be interesting.
And Diesel unknowingly just picked up one of his progression items.
Yes. Now here's the question. You know that the pedestal is required. Do you actually go and pick up the Asura item?
No, you don't. You don't need to.
I know you don't need to, but SDiezal's gotta figure, I checked the sword. I know this is required. Did my opponent check?
Oh
How
no,
soon did
Diesel's
he get the book?
going into Mire. This is so bad for Diesel. He's about to full clear a dungeon that has absolutely no value to him.
And not only that, but he cannot complete it. Because he needs the cane, which is in the sword. And oddly enough, this has been my second attempt at getting a sword seed. As there was, like, a race earlier that I basically was commentating just before it. So I'm happy I got my 3%.
Well, this seed has delivered. Remember, we were talking about how free the seed was earlier on, and then that Master Sword pedestal came in. Pretty insane. Alright, so TheSabin has cleared Swamp Palace. Now he's heading to Ice Palace for his final pendant. He's going to be able to collect that, and then he'll grab the glorious Cane of Samaria at the Master Sword pedestal. Alright, Diesel making his way through Mire again. We know that there isn't really anything of value here. I mean, he might find like quarter magic or half magic or a boomerang. That's like the best he can do. But sadly, he's not going to get any value out of it. Unfortunately, he didn't check the Master Sword pedestal immediately with that book. I mean, I understand the play to go to the two tablets, and they both did, which was really crazy sync, kind of swapping places, but he missed out on an opportunity to check that Master Sword pedestal, and he's gonna be face-palming when he sees
yes.
that it's actually the Cane of Samaria.
That is very true.
Alright, so TheSabin making his way through Ice Palace with a well-timed bomb jump. You can actually skip pretty much everything in Ice Palace and go straight to the boss without even requiring the big key. So hopefully TheSabin's bomb jumping is on point here.
And I know for myself, it took me a while to actually learn that, but I eventually did.
The bomb jump in Ice Palace is actually one of the most time-saving tricks you can learn in this game. So I would encourage people to try it out. It seems a little intimidating at first, but there are good tools in the Link to the Past community that can help you learn those tricks if you want to get going with that in Randomizer. And there's a great community around the game, as I mentioned earlier. So definitely, ask questions. There's a great Discord channel for the Link to the Past community if you want to get involved with running these randomizers. They're a lot of fun, and a lot of races happen every single day.
Yes, and in fact, we even had one where the actual goal was to collect the Master Sword pedestal item, which, oddly enough, is still relatively new as an idea. But, I mean, even with the pedestal being required, it still looks like it's going to be an actual very good time for SDiezal.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. With Boots being in the third chest, these players have been able to traverse through everything very quickly, and by checking that Master Sword pedestal almost immediately after acquiring the book, TheSabin here is going to be making off like a bandit with his time. This is going to be a really good time for him. Yeah, considering what he's up against.
ALTTP's going to be hitting himself after this. And Diesel realizing it's not in Mire. So where could you go? Will he opt to actually check either ice or, or Swamp
Palace? Yeah, I mean, Swamp Palace is a very lucrative place.
I think he's opting to check Swamp, and he probably won't finish it.
Yep, looks like he's going for it. This is quite unfortunate for him, but it looks like TheSabin has collected his final pendant, the green pendant, and he is heading to the Master Sword pedestal. So let's watch as he pulls out this glorious item.
Let's go, chat.
We're seeing some calls to switch the audio as well, which would be amazing.
Yes, please. We need to do that. As I said, 3% hype. 3% hype. And he's pulling out the book just to make sure. Just to show everybody that just came in that it was needed. Here we go! And once he pulls this, he will be in go mode. SDiezal is now in go mode!
Go mode hype! Pedestal hype! He is good to go. That glorious Cane of Samaria pulled right out of the pedestal. Beautiful. And he's going straight to Misery Mire. He's going to be able to full clear this as quickly as he can, and then head up to Turtle Rock.
And the sad thing is, Diesel's going to have to clear through all the, chest in Swamp.
And we do have Ether required for Mire, so we might see a bird toss in here.
That's true.
I hope so. Yo, the bird toss!
Bird toss for the win!
Bird toss right there.
Very good.
Really awesome room here from TheSabin. This Wizrobe room with all the little spaghetti monsters or whatever they are can be very difficult, and he cleared that with ease.
Yes. I really don't even know what those things are. They look almost like a group of worms or something.
I think they're called popos. I might be wrong.
Ah, like
big key right there for him. He can just go straight to the boss.
He can go straight to Vitreous.
Unless he's trying to hover here. Is he going for the hover strat?
Oh, that would be epic.
No. He's just grabbing himself a key.
I know if I could do that well, I would risk it just for the whole time-saving aspect of it. But now we're going to have to ask him, what was your immediate reaction when you realized it was the Cane of Samaria in the pedestal?
We're gonna have to ask both of these players because they're, Diesel's gonna find it at some point.
And he's gonna hit himself if he actually leaves this dungeon. At the very
least, he's completing these dungeons, so he should be able to get the pendants from them. Hopefully, he will actually follow through.
And he just soft locked. He didn't collect the key.
Did he not?
No, he did not.
Oh no.
And I think that's just a bad play on his regard because he's so, flustered to trying to find the actual Cane of Samaria.
Right. Now, he isn't completely screwed here. He can actually leave the dungeon and then transition one screen away, and then that resets everything. So he's not completely out of it.
Yeah, he'll have to actually go back in there. Though if he can find another key, he is actually still good. Because he could still complete the dungeon. He just won't be able to actually, get whatever is needed.
No, there's no other keys.
That is true. I'm not sure on that one, but, actually, no, you have this chest here. I know this chest here has screwed me over a few times. But, unless it's possible in the big chest, which I have seen it happen.
So let's check out this vitreous fight from TheSabin. No silver arrows.
Oh, opting for spin attacks. Very
great
useful.
Strategy. The eyeballs do a lot of damage. So if you stand in like the poison or whatever it is,
smart move, Diesel. Smart move. He realized he still had a key to get. He saved the key in the left side, in the right side of the big chest room, to actually be able to get it. He must have
gotten the key then. He must have gotten the key.
Probably not, because the I'm not sure if he did or didn't, because it looked like he had, because usually when you actually throw the thing... Oh no, he probably did, because I'm forgetting that the skulls sometimes reappear and sometimes they don't.
Oh, he had to have gotten the key at this point.
You're right. My bad. And Evan going to Turtle Rock to collect his final pendant. So, do you want to start making guesses as far as what chest the
It's a little early.
I was going to say in Turtle Rock.
Oh, in Turtle Rock. I suppose.
I'm not a fan of that dungeon, but
usually in the first.
I've seen it all over the place.
There are 5 chests that it can be in.
Now, at least Diesel is completing the fight, so either he's realized I might have to pull the sword, or that however the boss's name here is pronounced, has an item.
Yargus. That's what I like to call him.
Will he get the quick kill? Oh, and it was Ether again!
Wow. So Thieves Town paying off big time for these guys. But, I mean, I guess they had to be there anyways. to get their pendants for the Master Sword pedestal.
And it's the whole fact that Thieves Town tends to have items. It almost always pays off.
Now, it's good that Diesel did follow through and beat Argus here, because, again, he needs that pendant. So now the question is he going to Ice Palace? Yeah.
Does he realize he might need it? He's gonna realize he should be really happy He's checking the pedestal.
Is he? I hope he is. Oh, he is. He's just going up this way with the hammer pegs. Okay. I was worried for a second that he was going to the Dark World, because then generally it's faster to go down the left side, but he's good to go. He's heading to the Master Sword pedestal, guys.
We have the big key, SDiezal in, Turtle Rock, so he'll be going to clear it out.
Alright, Diesel is gonna have a realization right now.
He is going to literally face pop himself. Yes, it is needed.
There it is. And now he is going to beeline it to Ice Palace. You'll be able to full clear that quickly. Get over there.
Does he think his opponent has checked yet?
Right, I mean, all of this is just speed strats at this point. You gotta just go fast as quickly as possible to get those pendants and just complete the game, because you have to imagine that your opponent at this point, with them getting boots this early, flute this early, has been able to, you know, go through Thieves Town and get the Ether Medallion. It's just a question of if they would check the Master Sword pedestal.
That is true. I mean, it's one of those things, it's like, did they possibly dip into ice first? Did they, you know, consider swamp, or did they go to ice, you know, and then, realizing that it wasn't there, check swamp, and didn't pick up the pendants?
Yo, shoutouts to TheSabin for doing an awesome bonk strat to dodge those anti-fairies. That was pretty awesome. I like that.
But at least Diesel now knows I can skip this entire dungeon. I only need the cane. So I guess technically once you found out that the cane was in the pedestal, you were in go mode.
More or less, you know where you need to go to get your final item, but you don't have your final items. It's not officially go mode. I don't want to jump the gun on that one.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So TheSabin is taking a little bit of a gamble here, because he does still need one key, and he did not check the big chest in Turtle Rock, and that could have a key, and then the big key chest that he skipped could also have a key, in which case he will have to backtrack to the big chest and find himself a key. So this is the Turtle Rock gamble that I was talking about earlier.
Yes, it is.
Make. There are 4 chests on the eye bridge here, so he has a good chance of finding one.
Yeah, there is.
It's still possible.
And now, would you say SDiezal is what, dungeon and a half or 2 dungeons ahead? Or would you even go so far as to say 3?
He's probably about a good 2 dungeons ahead, because they should probably finish their dungeons at around the same time.
There's the compass. Oh, and taking a fall.
He needs the key to be here at this last chest. Or is he gonna go back upstairs? He has to go back upstairs! Oh no! This scene is trolling these guys to the end.
Especially with the sword. But wow, just wow. Just wow. I personally want to find out what each one, not only what each one of them were thinking, but what they thought of as soon as they realized, not only when they had to go beat all the pendant dungeons, but what was their thought about what they, you know, their opponents, you know, were.
Yeah, what's going on in your head? Yeah, we'll have to ask them what's going on. We'll also have to see how Troll Ganon's tower will be, as TheSabin will enter it fairly soon here. Because if that big key is in the tile room, that could give Diesel a chance to catch up. So most people check that last.
That is true. Though, at least Diesel has all of Meyer taken care of just about. He just needs to actually, collect, you know, just to actually go in and beat the, boss. Because he has the key.
That's true. Fair point. Having a little trouble with Cold Stare. He did have a kind of a good start to this fight, but then they broke off but he's finishing it up pretty well.
Note
that Diesel has 17 hearts right now, and TheSabin also has 17 hearts right now. That's how much these guys have been cleaning out the items in the game.
Nearly 100%. All they need is a boomerang.
That's right. And a butter sword, I suppose. Silver arrows are still an outstanding item, which I imagine all that stuff is in Ganon's Tower.
Yes. Yes, it is. Probably. And so, the swag duck being called for, this, and can we get some, pedestal hype for Diesel as he goes to pull out his can of Samaria?
Pedestal hype!
Now this is going to be... He is going to literally hope that he was the first player of the two to realize that the pedestal was expired.
Yeah, I mean, his time is still really, really good right now. These guys are looking at close to... I mean, TheSabin is almost definitely going to get a sub 2-hour time here.
And Diesel, depending on how fast he gets... depending on how fast his Meyer and his Turtle Rock are, might also... And his Ganon's Tower, he might actually make at least, you know, if not a sub 2-hour, but maybe a sub, you know, 210-ish. Or...
Yeah, I mean, depending on the Ganon's Tower key location, and if he decides to go for the big chest and Turtle Rock, like, he could have very close to a 2-hour time. So,
very true.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out.
So, chat, let's start getting those guesses in. The G-Tower Big Key.
That's right. Which chest will it be in?
And now I have to ask you, Alucard, what do you think it's going to be in?
I'm going to go with the tile room. I'm not even going to say a number. I'm just going to say the tile room. Because these guys really had what looked like a very free jet seed, as we like to call it. And they got trolled by Master Sword Pedestal, they got trolled in T-Rock, or at least TheSabin did, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a tile room to just finish off the troll here.
A lot of people are saying tile room. My thought is using chest 12, because I like it, or the Bob chest. But then again, I'm also seeing 420 in the chat, and my personal favorite from, you know, near the start of this event was pie.
Pie?
Yes, pie. I guess that's what you would call, I guess, the bonk item?
I would just count that as an item, basically. So here goes TheSabin. He's going to check the right 2 chests first. It'll be interesting if he decides to gamble right. Most players just check these 2 chests and then go left.
Oh, take that 18 hearts.
18 hearts. Can they find the last 2, or the pieces of heart to get there? I haven't really been keeping track.
Neither have I. But it will be interesting to see, you know... Oh, and Bob's alive!
That's right. If they knock that item off and collect it, then Bob does go away.
So this seed being really good. So let's see, chest 4, 4 bombs, chest 5, a key, chest 6, the blue boomerang!
The bloomerang!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a complete inventory. Now chest 8 has some more money!
Alright, the tile room dream is still alive. I'm excited. I do like Diesel's strat here of just like walking in the goo and just knocking out these vitreous eyeballs.
Using the boomerang to get through this chamber.
Yeah, the boomerang's actually surprisingly a very useful item.
Considering a lot of people tend to try to skip it, I'm a fan of using it. Even if it's the laggy, you know, magic boomerang, I'm a fan of it because it, you know, as a kid playing the vanilla version, I always used it. It was just always so useful. I don't know about you, but it's hard to forget things, you know, when you were younger, especially with this game, that actually are truly useful. Chest 9, money, chest 10, rupees, chest 11, the third bottle, old half magic at 12!
Awesome. Awesome place for half magic, and a nice find for the Sabin. I'm sure he's happy with that.
Yeah.
As Diesel does make his way up to Turtle Rock, so he's going to be heading over there. We'll see if he decides to make the same gamble on the small key for in the big chest.
Considering how trolly this seed has been, I'm betting you he may, because he may think that his opponent has not realized it, and that his opponent might have actually gone through all of, you know, the dungeons before checking it. But at the same point, considering when they got the book, they might have, you know, considered to check the sword first. I mean, if it's this late, you haven't found that single item, do you actually check, you know, the book first or not? It's Silver's in Bob's chest!
That's a pretty cool place for silver arrows. Bob guarding those silver arrows with his life.
Now that is insane.
And that's going to immediately make for an awesome Harmos fight. Kind of a cool place for silver arrows to be.
And watch the butter sword be in the verification chest. Here's the question. Do you check the verification chest now?
You always check the
butter sword!
Chase. Oh, there it is.
They have everything! Everything
well,
but the red boomerang.
Everything but the big key. That's the only problem for the Sabin right now. Is he needs the big key for Ganon's Tower, so he's gonna go right side. The tile room dream is still alive.
Yes, it is.
Alright, looks like the Sabin's gonna wait it out here.
So it looks like it will be chest 18 if it's here. Try not to get clutched by those clutches.
It's pretty funny because the tile room is just right there, right at the beginning of Ganon's Tower. So if you get, like, you can just pop in here, get the big key if it's here, and then you can find a small key on the left side in a pot, even if you don't get any in a chest. So it can be very fast to do this, but it's a slow room overall.
And it's the map.
The map. Rip me. Looks like we're doing a big full clear here of Ganon's Tower.
So chest 17. The only thing, you know, SDiezal is missing is the red mail, but he does know where it is. Which is another question I want to ask him is, why didn't you pick up the red mail? You saw it. And opting to use the Kinasamaria to get past this chamber.
In his defense, he has been very healthy throughout the scene. He's got
that is true.
A lot of hearts, but there it is.
And chest 19.
And he's got a small piece, so he's good to go. He is heading upstairs in Ganon's Tower.
Well, chest 19. Congratulations! You win whatever the last piece of part is. Well, we'd give it to you, but I think these runners have found, you know, just about all of them. So I guess we can offer you a round of applause. I guess.
Really nice mimic rooms here from the Sabin. Beautifully executed.
Yes, it is.
And here's where Diesel's going to have to make his gamble. Is he going to the eye bridge immediately, or is he going to go to that big chest, which we know is required?
I'm betting you he will go for the safe play. As he thinks he might have some time because his opponent, you know, might have, you know, not realized the sword was needed, and so that he might be ahead. And SDiezal entering the gauntlet.
Really nice first couple rooms. It looks like Diesel is making the safe play. That's going to gain him a little bit of time here, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough.
Nope. So, SDiezal looking, on pace to actually get a sub 2.
Great gauntlet from TheSabin. Awesome gauntlet. Well done.
Yep.
And he is going to powder. No, he's not going to powder. Wow.
He's opting
He's a
for
little low on health, so hopefully he can survive the next few rooms. He's blowing up
beautiful
these
landmolls fights.
Wow. 2 round. Very nicely done.
Now here's the question. Can he hover? Will he try to skip the verification chest?
I have no idea, but that would be
I have no
pretty
idea
cool to see.
either.
Either way, we all know what validates a run.
Now, I'm a fan of personally checking that chest. If and only, I consider only skipping it if you're like on pace for a PB. I don't know about you, Alucard, but I think that's a good reason to skip it.
I think at this point you gotta do it. It's a Master Sword pedestal seed.
Yeah.
You gotta validate that run.
Yes. Considering these 2 runners become only the 6th racers in this entire tournament to have to do that. Sorry, the 7th. I forgot. I think it was Andy that actually pulled it. It was either him or I forget who it was, but decided to pull the pedestal because it was the powder.
That's right, that was Andy. Yep.
Yeah, he chose to do it because of not being able to find one item and thinking it might be in the Batcave. And here we go to Moldor 2.
Well, Diesel is fighting Trinex and having a really good fight. Man, I'm really concerned about TheSabin's health right now. As
I am too. And
oh, he's juking around it!
Oh, come on!
That's okay. I think the pedestal validated this scene.
Yeah. I think that does validate it.
If a seed trolls you this much, sometimes you just gotta troll it back.
Yes. A
triple! Really nice first phase from TheSabin. Awesome triple there. Gets 1 in on the 2nd round. Again, he needs to watch his health. His health is so low. Getting concerned. If you die here at Aghanim too, you have to do all of Ganon's Tower topside again.
At least he actually still has that blue goo.
True, he does have a blue potion, and there he goes. He finishes off Aghanim. He's gonna need to be really careful in this Ganon fight.
And some of the people are actually asking him to choke. To actually screw up. I can understand wanting a run, but...
Alright, so TheSabin just fluted out of Aghanim 2 just as Diesel is entering Ganon's Tower, so still a fairly close race.
It looks like Diesel's opting to check the right side first, as usual, picking up
hopefully
the
he'll
2 basic
continue,
items.
But it looks like not.
And SDiezal picking up, the blue goo before entering Ganon.
So definitely a good idea with his health being so low. So he should be pretty good to go for this fight. He has a lot of health. He's got full magic with half magic. Yeah. And
the butter sword, the riot shield,
silver arrows. He's got everything. I mean, these guys have pretty much checked everything, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Diesel picking up his bloomerang. And here we go into the final phase of the Ganon fight. It's gonna look like a really good time for TheSabin.
Yep, he gets the torch glitch. And remember, he's got to switch over to silvers. That's hit 2. Oh. And just realizing that the torch goes out. Shot 3. And let's get those GGs in the chat.
GG to TheSabin. Awesome job. Finishing with an SRL race time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 12 seconds. Wow, what a seed, and what awesome plays by TheSabin. We found boots in the 3rd chest, and we had a Master Sword pedestal seed for you guys here
Yes.
today. Amazing.
A really amazing race. And one for the ages. As Diesel is now getting through Ganon's tower. We have to ask them what the thoughts were as soon as they saw that.
Alright, so I'm gonna see if I can get TheSabin in here for an interview. And again, Diesel is like right behind him. He's almost to the Armos Knights 2, which we know doesn't really lead to any value, but he does get the Butter Sword and the Silver Arrows for doing it, so it's not so bad.
Yes, it is. Not really bad. I mean, he does actually get something to help him Ganon faster. And I'm betting around maybe a 205, 210 maybe.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Really depends how his gauntlet goes and his Aghanim and Ganon fights go, but definitely.
Candle for sale.
I think sub 205 is possible here.
That is true.
Alright, let's get TheSabin in here for an interview. Hello, and congratulations!
Hello, thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah, that was definitely very fun to see. Boots right away and pedestal. Kane, what can you ask more?
Very true. So what went through your head as soon as you read the book that you had to get all the pendants?
Well, I checked the stone tablets, and after that I went a little bit exploring, I think, and I was like, maybe this seed, the small chance this seed has a pedestal, Kane, so I was like, alright, let's just check it. I had lower hope for this one, but it ended up being, it was a real surprise because I had to do all the dungeons all of a sudden, so it was really fun to do.
Well, considering that it's a 3% chance for that happening,
I'm pretty sure the chat went crazy and spamming the pedestal emoji.
Oh yeah,
chat.
we were all going crazy.
and they even asked
We're
us to
about to
change the
check it.
music to the pedestal's music when you went to go pull it. I
It
do have
was
to say,
definitely an exciting and awesome moment for us all. You should definitely go back and check it out.
Yeah.
Your opponent, Diesel, he actually, like, you guys were pretty much syncing up in terms of your completion, but going to different places. So, you know, you went to Skull Woods as he was finishing Palace of Darkness. You guys pretty much were both in sync as you both picked up Book, and you
basically
ended up...
past each other basically as you were going to Ether, he was going to Bombos, and vice versa.
That's right. It
So
was
I-
crazy.
The book was very far, if I remember correctly. It was on the Brian Cave, right?
No,
it-
it was the
correct.
mushroom.
It was at Witch.
Oh,
and
Mushroom.
Mushroom was on Pyramid. That's right.
So yeah,
And
definitely a
walking
fun seed.
stick
That's.
leads again.
I'm really glad I did the seed. It's really fun to do.
Yeah, but Diesel decided not to check the Master Sword pedestal for quite some time, so he ended up heading into Mire and checking a bunch of things there. He ended up
Swamp.
doing Swamp.
But at least he remembered to actually complete the dungeon.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to go to a pedestal. I was like, alright, let's just go for there just to be a peace of mind and to have chat reaction. And that definitely paid off in the end. I was like really happy that
It was
a
a
pedestal
huge
seed.
payoff. You were basically in go mode at that point.
Yep.
And chat, start getting your bonk guesses in for Sabin's bonk count.
So what's going on in your mind when you see Master Sword pedestal? Do you feel like your opponent's ahead, or are you feeling like you're ahead because you checked it, somewhat early?
At that point, I was thinking, oh, the speedrun experience will pay off because I cannot do Ice Palace very quick, and I could do Meyer as well. So I was thinking, all right, I have the advantage of the speedrun experience. After that, at that point, knowing that Kane is on the pedestal, so I was like, all right, just go to speedrun mode.
Very
Very
cool.
true.
So this seed started off like kind of free. Like, you guys found a lot of amazing items early on. You've got the boots in Escape, obviously, and you actually picked up the Titan's mitts fairly early. You took a tour over at Desert Palace, and you saw the magic powder there. You got the Titan's mitts. I bet you were feeling pretty good about the seed.
Yeah, I do the regular gloves with that lumberjack, so it was like I had that in my mind. But once I pick up the other gloves, I was like, alright, just forget I get him. And just to answer the chat, yes, I disrespected the chat, the chest, the validation chest. So.
Oh, we considered that the pedestal to be validation enough.
Alright, that's good. That's good enough.
I do have to ask one question off topic. How do you pronounce your name? Sabin or Sabin? Because I know it's from Final Fantasy VI.
That's a good question. Both. I'm used to both, but I think I'm saying myself Sabin personally, but both are good. I guess. I don't know.
I know the feeling. It's one of my favorite games of all time, so I just had to ask.
Yeah.
But your opponent is entering his Landmalls 2 fight. So that'll be nice. It'll be finishing up real soon. And so have any guesses as far as your bonk count or item menu time?
It's still scrolling on my end for the time.
I understand that. But
and to answer a question in the chat, why I passed the red mail is because I just don't need it, really.
I
You were
understand.
actually really healthy at that point, so you seemed like you were gonna be fine. Although we did see you dip into pod into that fairy room one time, so I was wondering if it ended up being kind of a wash in terms of time. But what was awesome was just to see your game knowledge, that you knew that was actually there.
I kind of like the challenge when I had the option, though. If you can pass the red mail, I kind of like the challenge added to the randomizer, so that's something I like to do as well.
Oh, and I can understand that. I can. And a decent item menu time, considering you had to actually check the sword pedestal. But how happy were you once you were able to hit dot done, considering that it was a sword seed and everything like that?
I wasn't. To be honest, I'm not sure is the speed experience, but I think a seed like that is definitely advantage to the speedrunners because you can replace especially if it's Ice Palace and all that, and other palace that needs to be done quick. So I don't know.
I know for me, even as a casual fan, and someone, learning, a lot more about the randomizer, I agree that it does actually, take a bit, and I would agree with you with having some advantage on that one. Though, we do know that TheSabin, is very good friends with VTorp, so he might actually understand the logic a bit more. Oh,
yeah.
And the validation test was a piece of
randomizer. I'm not used to. Sorry, I'm not used to the randomizer itself, the routing. So I'm probably one of the least experienced runner of this. So,
your speed tech really showed. You were flying through Ganon's tower for sure. Your gauntlet was amazing. We saw a lot of great execution from you throughout the entire race.
So apparently SD validated the chest, so I guess I have to forfeit now. That's how it works.
But TheSabin opting for net strats on Aghanim too.
The Swaghanim strats, I like it. Awesome.
It's always fun to actually do something amusing, on him.
So TheSabin, you are now 2-1 in your group, and you have one remaining match against Jet082, I believe. So, and if you do win against him, you guys are going to have a pretty hype 3-way tie.
I think Jet never lost a match, so that will be interesting to see.
He is the 4th seed in this tournament, so it's going to be a great match to see, because, I mean, with you finishing in 155-12 on a Master Sword pedestal seed...
Which I think is probably one of our fastest Master Sword pedestal seeds
gotta
so far.
be. Yeah,
I guess if you count Andy's drawing the sword just because he wanted the powder as part of it.
Sure, but your execution is on point, and I know Jet is a strong player too, so that should be an exciting match.
Yep, gonna look forward to that. I'm gonna have to step up a little bit, that's for sure.
That would be really amusing is if you have to deal with a second, pedestal required seed against him.
That would be great. Yeah, it would be great.
And Diesel entering his Ganon fight. Now with 19 hearts, half magic, silver arrows, and the butter sword. I think he's got this one.
Yeah, I think he should be good to go. He's already entering the next phase of the Ganon fight.
Yep. So I do have to ask. Actually, I just forgot my question because it's been such a very amusing scene tonight. Ganon's message about finding the silver arrows in Ganon's tower.
And Diesel is finishing up with the last few hits. Ooh,
a nice double.
Yeah.
And him being a Shovel Knight fan, from what I've heard, pulling out the shovel to shovel dash in there.
Awesome. And looks like we got a sub 210 from Diesel here. He's going to finish up this race with that shovel dash into the Triforce room.
And with a SRL time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 22 seconds.
Awesome job by him finishing up there. And let's see how his experience went through this crazy scene.
That is true.
So are you going to do anything to prepare for this match versus Jet? Because, again, if you do win, this will give you a good chance of making it into the bracket stage. It would be pretty awesome to see you there.
And it'll be another tie-breaking race.
I'm usually doing the weekly for the randomizer on Saturdays, so I'm gonna do that probably. But I don't think I'm gonna really practice though. It's really, you have to do runs really to practice this kind of randomizer. So.
And it also usually comes down to routing. At least
Yeah.
from what I've noticed. I mean, I may not know all the speed tech, but I do know some routing, so that does help.
Yeah, it's definitely routing that helps. Speedrun tech helps, but down the road you have to go where you have to go. So.
Fair enough. All right, it looks like we got Diesel up in here. Let's bring him in for an interview.
Hey, Diesel. How about that
Hey.
seed?
Wow, what a seed.
GG, sir.
Hey, GG, man.
That was an insane seed. How did you feel when you walked up to that Master Sword pedestal, Diesel?
Very let down because I knew I should have checked it earlier, and I think if I'd have checked it before I went to Mar, it probably would have been neck and neck. going into the end.
You guys were actually basically found book at the same time with the same number of crystals, and you guys both checked like ether and bombos. Like you went to different ones, but you guys like were checking them simultaneously, and then checked the other one simultaneously. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
And TheSabin did make the call to go to the Master Sword pedestal immediately after that, and that definitely paid off for him.
Yeah, it was definitely a matter of routing, and but I mean, it started out great. This seed started out really, really good, and then
boots in the third chest.
Oh my god, I about fell out of my seat.
I could see you guys laughing about that in the IRC. I mean, how did you feel like early on when you were collecting all these items? You found the Titan's mitts and you found boots and everything.
Just in my experience in doing randomizers, beginnings where you start out where you get a lot of items usually tend to teeter out near the end. So usually your end game is always finding that one last item if it starts out strong, and kind of like vice versa. If it starts out slow, you eventually get into dungeons with a lot more items and stuff. So.
Very true. Very, very true. But as far as everything goes, did you enjoy the fact of actually having to end the game with a complete inventory?
Not really. It was nice that we didn't have to. I skipped all of Ice Palace, which was nice. So.
And the only boss either of you chose to ignore was Aghanim.
Yep. And Sabin, did you do Aghanim, or did you find Titans before you realized you didn't have to?
No, I found the Titans before. Yeah, I knew the laws were on the Lumberjack, but I got the upgraded ones later, so I didn't need to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, because as soon as I seen that there, I was like, there's probably a good chance we'll find Titans before we have to do that, but you never know.
So
we were wondering because you actually found the Tempered Sword fairly early before TheSabin did, but he had gone over to Aghanis Cave and he collected the Titan's mitts before he even checked the dam or mini Moldorm Cave, so he kind of did a stop off over there before that. So it was really interesting. You guys were like kind of synced because you were doing like different things, but you guys kind of ended up converging back like at the pyramid and doing the double-chested fairy at the same time. It was really cool to see.
And had you actually gone to beat Aghanim, you would have gotten the book sooner and to realize the sword was required. Have either of you had actually found that out a lot earlier? Would it have changed your routing?
Absolutely. Because I think I still would have left Ice Palace for last. I probably...
I should have checked the pyramid. For my end, I should like check the pyramid earlier, but that's okay. I checked the pyramid late, but I went with the bomb and there was nothing there.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did, 2 items with 1 trip. So I did check it a little late. I did want to check it a little bit earlier, but ended up not being a big difference.
Now, another item that trolled both of you guys for quite some time was the hammer, which we ended up finding at Catfish. So. How did and honestly, you were getting a little trolled, Diesel, by not having Lamp. Maybe a little bit too, because you had not checked Zora yet. So, how did that feel?
So it's 2 things. One was I wanted to save Zora until I could do Kekfish, and then after I did the fish, I can mirror and then go over and do Zora. So, and sometimes that works out, and in some cases it doesn't. I think maybe had I gone to the Zora first, I would have been able to do, like Palace of Darkness and all that. But yeah, I usually keep all of those items at the same time. So I'll stay in Dark World, do the fish, do Zora, do the ledge, and then continue from there.
But what was really impressive is, despite not having some of that gear, like TheSabin did find Hammer before you, but he had done a Zora trip separately before that, like despite that, you were able to make a lot of progress. So that was pretty
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Yeah, it was definitely good. Like just the pace of the seed was really good. It wasn't like we were at a dead standstill for a long period of time. We were constantly moving. We constantly had like a next location to go to. So it was good. It was a good race.
And it was also one of those times where, I still can't believe it was a 3% chance.
Oh, of the Master Sword, yeah.
Yes. 3%.
Yeah, I never would have expected the Red Cane to be there.
I
Yeah,
went there
but-
just on a whim. I was like, alright, let's just check it. Why not?
And I
And,
know
yeah.
I'm always a fan of, if I've got the book and I'm in the area, to check it. Even if I'm not going to Skull Woods or anything like that. It's worth the check, just so that way okay, I really don't have to collect any of the pendants, and I'm good.
Right.
The thing is, they found the book like across the map from it, so I mean, they had to go out of their way. They had to flute out of their way to really get there if they wanted to do it. So I understand your decision, Diesel, and I understand TheSabin's decision to check it too, because I mean, you found that as pretty late.
Yeah, I think at that point, before checking the pedestal, I was like to the point where I was like, alright, I have to do dungeons in order to progress. And before doing that, I went there, and I was happy I did because it paid off a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah, see, that didn't hit me until after I finished Thieves and Swamp. And then I'm like, well, all I have left is Ice Palace. Now I'll go check the pedestal. And then I found out that's where it went from there.
But at least you were able to skip almost all of Ice Palace.
Yeah, that was good. That's always fun.
Yeah, you never want to do the Ice Palace completely. That's taking way
Never.
too long.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you did find Ether along the way in Thieves Town, so that was
That
also
definitely
very
worked
good
out
for
as
you.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noted, both Thieves Town and Skullwoods tend to actually hold at least a couple items in there, because if you have access to Village of Outcasts early on, the game sort of wants you to check those because they're easily accessible. It tends to think of those as normal progression spots.
Right.
All right, so I have kind of one more question here for Diesel. So, unfortunately, this is knocking you out of the group stage. But what kind of stuff are you going to do going forward? Are you going to keep playing Randomizer? Are you going to keep hanging out with the Link to the Past community and playing some of these races?
And are you going to do some commentary?
Yeah, I'm definitely open for commentary. I've been doing randomizers for a while. I'll definitely continue to do those.
You ever going to try the new the new pedestal percent? It still needs fine tuning, but hey.
I would much
Got
rather
a head
not.
start here today, so that's good.
But yeah, I'm just going to continue to do that. The Super 16 coming up, I'm getting ready for that. I'm going to be entering that tournament as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm a Shovel Knight runner, so I got Spectre Knight stuff coming up.
Spectre Knight!
Yeah,
Awesome. We saw the swag shovel dash into the Triforce room at the end.
Yeah, I've
That was
ended all
beautiful.
my races with the Shovel Dash, so...
I still have to finish Spectre of Torment.
Oh yeah.
I switched, but I've been too wrapped up in actually helping out with this to actually work on it.
It's really, really good. And even more fun to learn the speed run for it as well. So
Very true.
Awesome. Any last thoughts, guys, before we kind of close this off? TheSabin, Diesel?
nope, that'll do it. Thanks for the tournament, everybody. Fiesel, thank you for organizing everything, and look forward to the next tournament.
This is a great
Chat-
tournament. So,
It is a very good tournament, not only to participate in and watch.
yeah, both
Yeah.
ways. It's fun.
Especially since we have a lot of new people coming into the randomizer that have actually been doing quite well. And I think last I heard was like, what? Give an example. Will's made it into the brackets, and I think he said he's been playing randomizer for what, less than 2 months?
Oh wow.
It's what I could think of off the top of my head. So yeah, we've had some people that's like just picking up randomizer and Zelda: A Link to the Past as a speedrun at whole, and been doing amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting experience to pick up the game and delve into this randomizer world. I've been having a blast with it, and sounds like everybody is. So we're going to definitely keep having more of these races, and we'll be in the bracket stage soon. But make sure you guys follow both of these runners. They put on an awesome show for us. I have their Twitch links in the chat. Make sure you guys do that. And we don't have any more matches for tonight, but we do have a few tomorrow night as well. So,
and also that 3-person tie-breaking race coming up this Sunday.
Oh man, I am so hyped for that.
From what I've heard commentary, there's like 6 people trying to actually just throw their hat in the ring just for that one. I would recommend a possible race off to get in there, but I know I would have no chance of even getting the spot then.
Right, so we actually have 3 races tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Speed Gaming, and we'll also have a match on Speed Gaming 2. And then definitely come back on Sunday. We've got 2 matches on Sunday scheduled right now, Cross Product versus Karaoke, and then, of course, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, we're going to have that 3-way tiebreak race between Dan Carnett, Yunos, and Miria Chan. It should be an amazing sight to see.
That will be amazing to see.
All right, but that's going to do it for us here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for putting on an awesome race for us. And we'll see everyone soon.
Definitely follow the runners, as well as checking out the randomizer yourself if you'd like. For Alucard and myself, good night, sleep tight, have fun, and see you next time.
Good night, bye.